Reid, welcome to the world of comic book fans and Geek Nation and everything. I do want to ask what it's like to kind of be a part of a film like this. It's comic book, it's the geek culture. I'm sure social media has all kinds of new fans coming your way and all things like that.
Yeah, it's been intense. And this is, I mean, the movie hasn't even opened yet, so like we'll see what happens afterwards. But it's been cool just because I'm a fan. Like I've been a comic book fan since I was a kid, so to finally get to be invited into the universe is really cool.
Yeah, right off the bat in this movie when you're introduced, you're pissing off Tom Hardy. And that's a guy I feel like I don't ever want to piss off.
You don't want to piss off Tom Hardy.
I want to hear what it was like to establish the relationship between Dan and Eddie, and what it was like to get on set with Tom and do these sines. And was that the first scene you guys shot together? Was your introduction to the movie?
No, that was actually towards the end. I feel like that was a good decision to sort of put that towards the end, because oftentimes when you're shooting something, you make a decision right off the bat, and then you get to the end and the characters evolve a little bit, and you're like, oh man, I wish I could go back and sort of redo the intro to it. But my first day on set, they'd already been shooting for maybe a week or so, and the first scene up was between Tom and Michelle and myself was a pretty big scene in the MRI room when he goes to the transformation and everything. And we needed to work it out. And there was a lot to talk about. There's a lot of physicality, there's a lot of blocking, and some CGI elements and things like that. So the three of us, Tom, Michelle, and myself, and Ruben Fleischer, our director, were in a room for like 4 hours, just like talking about it and like breaking it down. And there's no better way to get to know someone than to solve a problem with that person. And Tom and Michelle were awesome like that. I mean, and like Tom was definitely like leading the charge, because like he had a vision for it, but wanted to hear, because he's got to go through the big physical transformation. So we're all trying to like figure out what's going to make it best for you, but he's also very generous and like, how do you guys preserve what you guys need from your characters? And it's great. I mean, that's what you want on a set, is to get that cohesion and that sync right off the bat, and we got it.
So when Eddie is kind of half Venom, half Eddie, Tom there's nothing really there, but there's kind of a moment where he kind of chokes you and lifts you up off the ground. How do you guys pull that off on set? What is there like? Are you strung up on something? Is there anything actually touching you?
Yeah, there was Tom's hand around my throat. Yeah, take after take after take after take. I think he developed a taste for it after a while, and actually so did I. It was very warm and soothing.
There you go. And now it just became a 50 Shades of Grey crossover. Whatever, no big deal.
It was cool. One of the things I really liked about it is the movie in general is that as much as they could, they shot it very practically. So it's not just green screen flats all around and stuff like that. It was full on sets that they would sort of like, all right, well, imagine this here and imagine this there. I mean, yeah, there's for some of the bigger stunts, they got to do the rigs and stuff like that. But for that, it was just like old school cheat of like hand on the throat, up on the toes, shoot it high low, and like old school camera tricks, which is great because then you're not pulled out of the moment. You can really just sort of stay in there, and you don't have to worry about, is the rig gonna hold or whatnot. You got Tom Hardy's hand around my throat, and but he's also like apologizing to me at the same time.
So my last thing for you, were you a comic book fan at all before you joined this film?
I was, yeah. I grew up with comic books.
Do you have like a dream hero? Because I mean, you got a Mr. Fantastic look about you.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, actually, Mr. Fantastic was one of my favorites. I still like Plastic Man. I thought because it's just so silly and out there, and because he was a thief. He's a pickpocket, and he's got this like checkered past and stuff like that. And I tend to like characters that go through some sort of accident. I always was sort of fascinated by that.
Yeah.
Like I used to love Swamp Thing and Toxic Adventure and stuff like that. But Plastic Man was just so freaking weird, man. He was cool.